Hey guys, welcome to Two Seals and a Walrus, where we are recording for the first time at the Cabin, which is a place that we retreat to hang out, have a good time, just kind of do some fishing, just kind of do some chilling out, some introspection, some sharing, and we decided to bring our camera gear along and do a couple episodes from the Cabin for your enjoyment. We also have some bonus footage which is going up on the Patreon site, Two Seals and a Walrus. It's patreon.com/TSAW. Check that out. If you become a supporter of ours, you get access to the cool content and also the advanced offerings of special trips, which I think we might have some stuff coming up with Randall Carlson that we're going to take him out into the field. And if you want to be part of that, get on that Patreon list and become a supporter, and we will ask you first. So there you go. So I'm here with my co-host as always. Let's see if I can shift this thing, because this is not our regular something or other. There we go. Here's everybody. So there's Ben there on your left. There's Doug there in the middle. Dan, you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Dan.
The man with the plan.
Well done.
I'm really good at this.
We got
to talk about the first night fishing.
Missing. Well, hold on. We've got to cover.
Sorry.
We got to cover months of our absence on interwebs and explain our experience of COVID and why we haven't gotten together in such a long time.
Do we have to explain that though?
We should mention. I know it's so goddamn old right now, but we couldn't get together in the studio because my wife has one of those conditions where you're right. My wife has one of those conditions where it exacerbates COVID symptoms, so she could wind up in the hospital on a respirator because
you guys have had to be extra cautious.
Yes,
we've had hospitals to exacerbate the symptoms too.
We've had to be all kinds of nasty shit around hospitals. So anyway, we couldn't get together and we couldn't record, and so we've just been kind of hanging out, doing nothing, and not putting any content out. And I haven't gotten it. None of my family's gotten it. Ben, you said you may have passed through it already and not known it because some folks in your house.
I haven't gotten it, but I've been in intimate contact.
There's honestly no way that we do not have some sort of antibodies to it.
I feel like after being over in a third world country,
it's not even that. It's just that, from me traveling and doing my job, and I never slow down. And then I would immediately get off from my work and then go to your house to work there.
My mistake. What I meant to say was it's inconsequential whether or not I've gotten it. Because I haven't experienced it.
Yeah, so you could be asymptomatic or not, but it doesn't matter because you're...
Meaningless.
Yeah.
Because I don't hang out with people with AIDS.
It's like a monkey on roller skates.
I don't hang out with infants. I don't hang out with people with AIDS, and I don't hang out with people
infants aren't even at risk.
Almost dying,
right?
Or literally in the process of dying, and doctors are milking their wallets and letting them die slowly.
Right.
Well, it's not even, the infants aren't even at risk. It's all the people trying to use all the motorized carts at the Kroger's.
We call those Americans. Yeah.
Hey,
so Doug, how was going for you?
Hey, we did put our lives on the line for those people to be able
I saw you wearing a mask. You sent me a picture wearing a mask. I wore a mask, and I wear a mask everywhere, by the way. Every time I go out, I wear a ridiculous, two-sided, two-filtered mask that looks like fucking something from a sci-fi movie, but I haven't gotten the virus yet.
It's a lovely sentiment if you're intending not to spread it, but the fact that you didn't cover the tear ducts or your ears or any open wound.
I did have glasses.
You had wraparound eye pro that sealed your eyes. You had goggles.
How often do you shave?
I didn't have goggles, but I do have my wraparound glasses that I did.
How often do you shave?
Yeah.
Like every day.
You had open hair follicles.
So every single day that you shave, you end up scraping off a layer of epidermis, which is opening up for viruses to be able to
but I don't leave the house.
Unless you're wearing a mask.
Right, unless I'm wearing a mask. Which covers up parts of my face.
Exactly.
To keep you from spreading it is the point.
How was COVID for you?
Yeah. Good. Next question. No.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's funny is, I'm sure you guys can relate to this. It's like as soon as the lockdown kind of happened, I didn't realize it in real time. I didn't realize this, but I was going into deployment mode. Okay, there's now an existential threat. My recreational opportunities are now highly limited.
Yeah.
I have to change my daily life.
Yeah.
I have to carry around protective equipment, whatever gear.
Yep.
I went to the garage. I got a Wii out on talk to fiance. I was like, hey, we might be indoors a little more. Let's do this.
Whoa, you got a Wii out?
Yeah.
Did you do sword fighting?
No. Dude, we played
Realistic.
MarioWare.
There's sword fighting?
MarioWare.
Okay.
Yes, you can sword fight on the Wii.
We don't need to.
I just don't know that there's enough tactile feedback
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
for me to get a good sword fight in.
So you're saying you need some penetration.
Haven't caught up yet.
According to that Wii, and also where it comes from,
We?
we should be able to become ninjas. Off
And-
of that.
I mean, I already took that course.
And then we could fight other ninjas effectively and then nothing else. That'd be great.
Already been there. Not that cracked up.
I agree with Doug. I went into full deployment mode.
Yeah.
I started living life as if I were on deployment. I did my daily tasks and what was required of me. I did my daily collateral duties at home, and I tried to fucking bolster my ability to be in an austere environment in my own local environment.
You know what's funny about
weird.
deployments that I think is applicable to anyone who exists ever? When you have a shift like that, you know, whether it's the pandemic or deployment, you're dealing with an existential threat. Something wants to kill you because it's a dick. You have to change your daily routine. You have to have all these safety parameters, and you now have all these anxietal thoughts you have to deal with and process correctly, otherwise it's going to fucking eat you.
Yep.
You then go, okay, shit. I now have to be really cognizant of intentionally carving out slices of happiness when I can, in
Yeah.
ways that I'm okay with.
Yes.
You know, and the Wii was like, all right, a little silly game time, like,
Yeah.
and I think it was a good reminder too, because it's easy not having a existential threat out there. It's easy to get complacent and not remind yourself that it's up to you to be intentional to
Decompress and be happy.
decompress, have fun, process anxiety the right way, and you know,
Yeah.
it was honestly it was a nice reminder in a way.
Yeah, we took it as a break. Like having kids and whatnot, it's a different dynamic over here. But
Absolutely.
we took it as a break and an opportunity to get together as a family more and play games and interact and take time during the day.
pretty easily. You guys shifted gears pretty easily.
Yeah, well, I always shift gears easily
Yeah.
on
I was just alley-ooping.
everything, but yeah, slam dunk. Boom. With
We're
everyone in
like,
the house, it
we
was
would
pretty much.
never make
I mean,
up
Whitney
our-
was, she's the one that's most attached to, the structure of society and the corporate existence that she has, etc. And so there's always this push and pull of the peaceful side and the Zen side of Whitney versus the chaotic requirement of egoic existence within the societal structure and the corporate structure. But I think everybody took the transition pretty well that, we're just going to stay at home. The cool thing was, I made a number of predictions, one after another, that everybody fucking rolled their eyes at. And then they all came true. And so now the
You
credibility
guys start tweeting this stuff.
that I probably should,
Yeah.
but that allowed Whitney to then start seeing me less as a, he's mostly right, but there's some crackpot, to say, holy shit, he's fucking right a lot.
What's that phrase? If you think one step ahead, you're smart, and if you think 2 steps ahead, you're genius. If you think 3 steps ahead, you're crazy.
Yeah, so I get the crazy
Yeah.
reaction a lot on some of the stuff that I talk about, including when I predicted Trump was going to win the presidency on the night of the third debate.
Dude, all the polls. What do you mean, man? All the polls had Hillary Clinton by a landslide.
Damn.
That was embarrassing.
So, the transition wasn't bad for us. And so we're still in lockdown mode, really, where we're just going to the grocery store and disinfecting all the groceries as soon as they come in
Declan
the house.
hasn't been actually going to school, right?
He has not been going to school,
I
and
bet he's handling that like a little boss.
yeah, he is. They're just now getting back to soccer.
Do they throw a mask?
They take the masks off and they have a 10 by 10 foot square that they can't go out of. So they're running circles, they're doing dribbling drills inside this thing, and sometimes they put them in lines, but you have to be like 10 feet apart from the other person, and you're running dribbling drills and stuff like that
Okay,
singularly.
I hate people.
Not in too far of a tangential thought, but if you're running around 10
Yeah.
feet apart or not, if you're running back and forth, different directions, what's the difference?
No, there's
I
none.
know, but
There's
you're
none.
outside is the only
With the
argument.
UV light that is resonating these things to end up destroying themselves. Like,
Yeah, UV light kills it, and we have to stay
Yeah,
home.
but
we
Does
have
that
to
make sense?
recognize.
Yeah, we can't go to the beach because COVID might be getting in the ocean. I think there's some
But
bullshit.
yeah,
Go
it's-
back to your
It's
apartment building where Central Air is. It's fucking primo
Dude,
fucking
how
housing.
about that cruise ship? What a horrible thing they did.
I
Hey,
know.
there's a pandemic, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna not let you guys off the fucking boat.
Yeah.
Rebreathe the fucking air.
Right.
Fuck yourselves.
yeah, we're gonna
Like,
circulate
are you
that
kidding
one.
me?
By the way, stay
You're our first
stay in
God.
isolation.
When I was
Stay in
saying
isolation
circulate-
so it can mutate as many different
Hey, two
variations
of you have
as
it.
possible.
We just want to make sure the rest of you get it.
Yeah.
Because we need some
That's
data.
great. You guys have actually won the grand prize. You're the guest of honor tonight at the show.
Every metropolitan
we
area.
need some
is-
data,
is
so we're
trying
gonna let
to
a few more of you
aggressively extinct
die.
us.
Who thought that was a good idea? I'd
Nobody.
like to meet them.
Nobody thought that was the problem.
I don't know if I would sincerely like to have a non-judgmental conversation of what their line of reasoning was and
They-
why they stopped.
Well, I'm sure it was. I'm sure the cruise ship didn't make that decision that they wanted to keep the people on the boat. It was, you're not letting those fucking people off the boat on this dock. That was probably what
Yeah,
they
that makes
got.
a little more sense. Well, fuck them then.
Yeah, right. I mean, because what makes more sense is like leaving people on the boat where the shit's going to
No,
fester
they
and
take
people
them
are
off,
going to
just
die.
quarantine them in place.
You quarantine them, right?
Yeah.
Put them in the hospital.
And
If if they had room.
Well, we had a handful of people infected to that point, right?
yeah, there was like literally only, I think it was 2 digits.
Or so we thought.
Yeah.
Now they're saying it could be or
I
much.
think
earlier.
I think there's.
I think it's hilarious that we still discuss this thing with
Yeah, it's fucking
the unbelievably low mortality rate that it has.
Here's my thing. I am very intentional in my low information diet when it comes to news and media.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
So what? There's 2 different studies that came out that basically said that actually a whole lot more people have this than what previously was thought.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
we're not going to
That's common sense, right? That's
Yeah.
I mean, they're not doing enough testing to know who's infected, and so their
Yeah, so-
infection rate is going to be reported much lower because they're only saying
they're gonna estimate
cases
our
are
number.
confirmed cases
Yeah.
with a
Hold
test.
on, though.
Right, so you don't
It's
have testing. and
but
screws
yeah,
the
yeah,
numbers.
but there's also the entire fact that it's like, and obviously we've all seen this stuff. Where it's just a guy died from emphysema, and it's just like, oh, he had COVID.
Oh, the
Put it on 'em
classification
because-
of a COVID death. Yeah,
Because the
that
fact of the
was-
matter is that the
Wait.
federal government will
Counterpoint.
pay X amount of dollars if a patient has COVID and they're putting him into the bed. That
Counterpoint.
was
yeah,
So I thought about this, and I was like, it's fucked up. And I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Let's pretend it's not fucked up. Why would they do that?
Safe bet.
They have to draw a line in the sand somewhere.
Might as well lean on the side of safety.
yes.
Yeah, and I was like, all right, if someone was in charge of saying, okay, what constitutes a COVID death?
Right.
They got to draw the line in the sand somewhere. They have to.
yeah,
No, but
yeah.
even if they didn't die from COVID, it's
Oh, I know.
considered a
If
COVID
you get shot in the
death.
head and you had COVID, it's a COVID death. Oh, I know.
Because that's a
But I
safe
disagree
bet.
with it until I was like, why would they do that though?
Yeah,
Someone's got to pick it where it starts and ends. Like,
Yeah.
I get it.
yeah. All right, so we came up here to the cabin after COVID and this is literally our first break from being in quarantine and not having
Yeah, this
to
is the
hang
first
out.
time I've been
and-
out.
I've
Yeah.
never quarantined.
Well, yeah, Ben ignores the rest of the world and does what the fuck he wants. But as it's the first time I've been out into public. I mean, literally, it's the first time I've slept outside my regular bed in months.
And you didn't die.
And I didn't die. I haven't died yet.
amazing.
But
Thank
we came up here to the
goodness.
cabin and we decided to do a little bit of
Jeepers
fishing.
creepers.
But we also watched the CE5 documentary that Steven Greer put out recently.
I got the app.
And yes, and Doug got the app. And so, if you're unfamiliar, you need to check it out because they put out a documentary called CE5, I think, and then they put out a CE5 app. I guess before I don't know when it came out, but it's out. And it includes a protocol of meditation and reaching out through non-local consciousness to invite ETs to come on by. And they say they've done a number of groups that they've meditated and opened their hearts and said, hey, ETs, come on by. We want to hang out with you.
Also, I'll pick up a burger on the way.
Yeah, pick us up at Interstellar Burger. And so we were like curious about this and we were really interested in trying it out. And so the other night, we're sitting on the dock and we're just kind of chilling out. And I decided to go into this meditation to say, to reach out into the universe and say, hey, E.T., if you're around, why don't you give us a little flyby? Wouldn't that be fun?
So wait,
Just
I
for
want
fun.
to be clear on this timeline.
Okay.
An hour or two before that,
Yeah.
we were talking about, because we follow Steven Greer, Dr. Steven Greer.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm going to buy the app.
Okay.
And we were talking about that,
Yes.
and we were talking about our trip to Peru. And I intentionally didn't, I said this too, didn't share a lot of what I was reading on the guide with you guys.
Yes.
And I was intentional with that. I was like, I'm going to let you guys read this tomorrow. So then we went down fishing.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Doug gets the app, and so then but I've watched the documentary and I heard his spiel.
Yeah, that and I shared a few pointers, but
Yeah. So then I just was sitting in a chair on the dock, and it was totally dark. We could see all the stars in the sky because it was a cloudless night. And I decided to just start reaching out and saying, "Hey, all right, let's try this Steven Greer thing and see if we can get anything from it." That's what my interest was. Just like, all right, let's see if we can get anything. And I was meditating without telling anybody. And then Doug came by and asked me a question,
I
like,
think I was rigging up a poll for you or something.
yeah, connected with like why my eyes were closed or something. Like he was asking me if I was going to take a nap or whatever. And I was like, "No, I'm meditating. I'm trying to reach out." I answered the question, and then I indicated to everybody. I was like, "All right, well, let's see if I can get some of these stars to move for our entertainment."
You said that out loud.
And I said it out loud so that everybody would know. And I did it for two reasons, intentionally. One, so that everybody would know what the fuck I'm doing with my eyes closed, that I'm not taking a nap and just kind of
That you put that thought in our head.
dozing out. Right, yeah, and it
Sorry
did.
to cut you off there.
And I also just wanted to say, hey, if anybody else wants to do this, maybe, if you're interested, if you're inclined, join me. But I said that. I said those words. And then I started looking up in the sky, and maybe less than 30 seconds later.
Yeah.
That is seconds, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I finished saying it, literally, I looked up in the sky and I saw the stars. And so you identify the stars that aren't moving, and then you identify the things that are moving, which are, you see a bunch of planes up there, you see satellites sometimes, you see a bunch of shit. And so I saw a couple of little white dots that were a little bit smaller than the stars and a little bit bluer than the stars. But they were moving. And I thought, okay, those are jet airliners. That's kind of cool that they're flying over. But then I noticed, because of what I know with jet airliners and their cruising altitudes and things like that, and relative speed to how fast, you just look at planes and you see them moving, how slow they are, how slow they seem to be moving. These things were booking across the sky. These things were way out of tolerance for any terrestrial craft that I know of. And I knew that it was not a regular aircraft that was flying across the sky, and so I wanted to get some kind of secondary witness to this, and I didn't want to make any suggestive comments, so I just said,
Oh, look at it.
"Guys, look up."
Would you look at it?
And yeah, and I was,
What's funny is, sorry to
Go ahead.
because I remember I was like finishing up one of the polls, and you're like, "Hey guys, look up," and I happened to like where I was facing, and I was like, "Oh, just look up right here," and that's when you didn't point out any specific like kind of
No.
look angle or you said, "Hey, just look up,"
yeah,
and the first thing I saw after discussing it later was what you were seeing, and I actually looked away from it
yeah,
because I thought it was an optical illusion.
yeah,
Because I thought I saw it appear, but then, disappear, but then appear at a
Yes.
different location.
yes,
You might.
And I
you
did-
might have. You might have.
yeah.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. So, having no frame of reference as a human being for anything that does that, I dismissed it.
yeah, totally.
But then
Why?
you're like, no, it's over here. And I was like, oh.
Why would you dismiss it though?
Do you see cars disappear and reappear?
You're also not watching cars.
Have you ever seen a car disappear and rematerialized?
I've also never seen a car go through the Earth's atmosphere when it was coming in at an angle, which is going to end up distorting the actual image.
Are you telling me you have a frame of reference for something that can dematerialize and rematerialize?
I'm telling you that it is a fact that you can sit there and due to parallax, okay?
The question was, why did I dismiss it? And I'm saying, without
Yeah.
a frame of reference,
Yeah, he dismissed it because
My brain goes,
it's
"Never
one of
seen
those
that.
things.
That's
He discussed
probably
it as a potential parallax.
Yeah.
He dismissed it as a potential illusion of
Exactly.
Air
That's-
phenomena.
That's
Yeah.
why.
but I just had no frame of reference.
yeah, but that's why your brain ended up dismissing it.
Yeah, that's what he
It's
said.
because it was
Yeah.
like.
yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
But the fact is that that was occurring, and it was.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the confirmation of you and then Ben, that we were all looking at it,
Yeah.
I 100% totally would have dismissed it.
Because Ben looked up and he goes, "Yup," and then you looked up and you saw how fast they were doing and what they were doing, and you go, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Because it appeared, reappeared, disappeared. But then the angles it took.
Yeah, like I saw one of them doing it in a straight line, and then all of a sudden it took a 90-degree turn, and started to fly in the same speed in a perfect arc. And I'm like, there's nothing that can do that. There's nothing that I know on terrestrially that can do that. And so I was like,
perfect arc. In a perfect arc.
it seemed pretty good. And then
I mean, like, all right, so a
like
jet
halfway
would,
through the perfect arc, it started spiraling off, and then the other
so
one
a
was
jet would end up elongating that arc just due to gravitational pull.
But you'd barely
yeah.
be able to notice a jet arc.
Yeah.
yeah.
'Cause it'd be so
This was
low.
like-
That and it
pronounced.
wouldn't make a 90-degree turn right
pronounced,
before
like,
it started that arc, right? There would have to be
think
some
you do.
logarithmic curve into the
Okay.
entrance of the arc, etc. This thing just literally did not slow down and just did a 90, and then took off in a different direction.
So,
and then,
like I'm
and then-
saying, if once we understand magnetism, truly understand magnetism, I'm talking about the molecular level, the thing that literally bonds everything together. Once we understand how to manipulate that, our entire world changes.
yeah. Yeah,
That- that is
then
a
you're talking
fact.
about mass manipulation. You're talking about negating the momentum and the mass to where you can slip through space-time.
Alchemy's
That's-
truest
that's-
self-realization.
Well, we
Cutting
start
quantum
getting into
entanglement.
vehicles that we can,
Yeah.
you know, like
so that's what I
your
thought we were
car can
witnessing.
go to the moon, and
That's what I thought we were witnessing, is that, something that could do that type of mass manipulation was up there doing it. But the fucking thing was that it was doing it less than 5 minutes after I asked for it to happen. Now, here's the cool thing. It could have been a coincidence. Somebody else could have been doing a CE5 thing for a week, and then it asked for a UFO, and then finally the fucking guy shows up, to do a little flyby. But literally less than 5 minutes after I said, hey, wouldn't it be amazing for you guys to come by and just do a flyby, give us a little light show? And then I literally look up after I say, guys, let's do that. I literally look up, and that's exactly what fucking happened.
So I only saw one light. Ben, what did you see?
I saw it too.
Yeah, what did you see, Ben?
So I
saw
saw
two.
just one.
Just like
Were they mirroring each other, or was it?
at first.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what I saw. I saw two dots
Maybe it wasn't
mirroring
two
each
separate
other.
things. Maybe it was an illusion of coming in and out.
That could be, yeah. And I was thinking about that too, that it could be a secondary instance in a different 3D space-time of the same object. But then, and near the end, and I don't know, maybe you differ, Ben, I thought they did different things at
They
the
did,
end.
yeah. It definitely, they fizzled out different.
Okay. Yeah. And they fizzled out.
yeah.
They disappeared.
Yeah.
That was
They
the...
didn't just slow roll to the horizon. They just. It was like it'd be like looking at a star and then seeing the star just disappear.
Yeah. And you didn't look up at all, Dan, right?
I was fishing.
Yeah, you were fishing. You were casting...
Live bait, right?
Live bait always.
It's literally the only thing that I will ever do, because frankly, I just don't want to work at anything.
No, he just wants to look at how neat nature is.
All right, so...
That works better. I like that.
How
Right.
long have you been because I've been processing that for the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's still like sitting in because it's not often you see something.
A couple things on the plate. It just got in line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where are you right now? I mean, I'm always, like a shade of gray probability, right? There's a shade of gray probability that it was a natural occurrence, a natural cause of some type of weather activity or electrical activity or whatever it was, or maybe even mass suggestion that we all fucking decided to see something very similar, or maybe we even connected via non-local consciousness and saw a same type of illusion or hallucination. That's on a scale of probability for me that's pretty small at this point, but it still exists. And then over here is absolutely UFO and absolutely
What percent would you be?
answered me in coming by to give us a fucking light show just for shits and giggles, just for the lulls, right? Yeah. So probably I land somewhere on it's absolutely a UFO side of that shade of gray, but I hold in superposition all possibilities of reality without just saying, oh my God, yes, absolutely, I know for sure it was a UFO and they were responding to me saying, come by and give us a light
was.
show.
Why can't we train people in school to have that approach? I believe the answer, based on what I currently know, I believe it's this.
Open
I'm
to
cool with it
suggestions.
being wrong though.
Yeah.
Right.
Give
me more
I think
info.
my mind is made up. Open to change that.
Yeah.
Right. So where are you on that grayscale?
I mean, definitely, the majority is the same side as you.
So you're of the thought process that is the highest likely story is that it was a UFO. The highest probability in your mind.
Yes. I mean, it's just nothing. It's no craft. I mean, it's just it's outside my realm of experience
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
Unidentified.
Like for sure.
It is certainly an
I
unidentifiable.
get why the verbiage over the years has shifted to phenomena.
Right.
Yeah.
Or phenomena, whatever.
Yeah.
I get that.
Phenomena.
So where are you? Where's your grayscale?
I haven't given it a thought.
You haven't done any analysis
Well,
of
we
it?
saw some lights in Oak Island.
So, yeah.
That was weird.
So I am.
Oak Island.
I'm fine with the fact that if it okay, if something was capable of such a tremendous feat, such as interstellar travel or interdimensional travel or whatever, and it decided to give a casual fucking once
What's
over
up?
to Sean for his polite request to because he was bored,
Yeah.
I think that would be silly
Yes.
unless it was. I don't know. I couldn't make any inference as to what that thought process would be.
On their end?
Yeah.
I mean, I do. I'd do the same thing.
If you could travel to any
Yeah,
star,
I would want to go see what life is like.
Hey.
For sure.
Hey, the apes asked me to come fart. I'm gonna go fart for a second.
Fair enough. So that's definitely a possibility. I'm not discounting that whatsoever. I'm just saying
Are you
if
saying what
it's.
their motives are?
I'm saying the idea that would occur for any meaningful purpose in a singular instant, and then action should be taken to warrant further investigation on my part to fully understand, for the sake of something coming to fruition or being actualized. That doesn't exist. So if it existed for a reason, I will sit here and wait until I have more evidence and the capacity to understand and the opportunity to further investigate, and I'm not going to waste my time until that
You don't
occurs.
have to know where the road goes.
You're
You
right.
just have to know you're on the right road.
You're right, and if it happened, I'm considering it on the right road.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm in autopilot. I'm
Yeah.
actually not even driving. I'm just sitting in the passenger seat, and I'm gonna keep staring at the road.
You're
until
in
I
the
figure it out.
observer's seat.
I'm gonna watch, and I don't really care what it is
We're
yet,
we're pretty good at that spot.
until I have a capacity to understand, or the necessity to, or the desire to, or the tool, whatever opportunity, all of it.
Yeah.
Not giving it a second thought. I got other shit.
Yeah. I got more important shit going on than to figure out whether
There were
UFO
some funny lights in the
give
sky.
us a flyby.
There were some funny lights on your camera. Both of those things made me chub up a little
And
when
they
they
didn't help
happened,
us catch fish.
and none of that matters right now.
They did help this morning, though.
I'm sure.
So what happened at Oak Island?
Kind of saw similar lights, but there was like 6 or 7 of
On
them.
a beach,
Yeah.
Now, where's Oak Island?
It's
North Carolina coast.
North Carolina coast.
Okay, so
closer
this
to
is-
the South Carolina.
Maybe
All
something-
right.
something
So
like
this is the same spot where the guy took the video, and I love this. Whenever you take UFO video, you have to shake the camera, and you have to
Are you
not.
saying Oak Island?
You have to
Okay,
not
so
point it at the UFO itself. That is
I thought it
critical
was
whenever you're taking a
There's more than
UFO
one.
video. To
The one
not
that's on
point
the
the
History
camera at the
Channel.
UFO and to shake the shit out of it when you get
It's
the
like
UFO
Bigfoot
in.
rules.
Yeah,
If you
totally.
get a Sam squinch, it's got to be fuzzy.
All right, so one of those guys took a video of what we discussed as potentially
Yeah.
parachute flares that would hang in the horizon and then eventually go out. And a lot of people have seen these types of lights in the same location off of the North Carolina coast.
I've never seen a parachute flare before.
And they
though.
have for the last 500 years.
Ah.
And we've never seen
Before
parachute. And of course, we've
flares-
never seen parachute flares either.
That's the important caveat. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of those.
Right, so you have seen parachute flares.
And
that's
so
why I
has
asked
everybody
you. I was like,
for
does that look
500
like parachute
years,
flares?
allegedly.
And you guys
Yeah.
are too busy to get back to me, which is like bullshit.
Yeah, no, absolutely
you
not.
cannot let those questions fucking float in the ether forever. By the way, you have to stop your fucking life and answer those types of questions. when I say-
Sometimes our text gets too full, and I don't have time to go back through the parts I missed.
I don't have time to do anything except read it, chuckle, carry on, and wait for these
I think
times
it's
to
funny
talk
when
to
I
you
have a
guys
long
about
chat
it.
with you and not him, or a long chat with you and not him. I'm like, that fucker's gonna have to catch up.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, so they've had the same reports since before airplanes were a thing.
Okay, so the same reports off of North Carolina,
Yeah.
lights
It's
in
like
the
that
sky.
30-second latitude.
Okay. And you guys have seen those
Right.
lights.
We saw some lights.
And they don't look like parachute flares.
No, there were nothing I recognized. I had no contextual experience to identify.
Now, where were you guys? Were you guys doing a training cycle?
No.
Training
No, we
rotation?
were hanging out with his family beach trip.
Yeah.
Okay, family beach trip, and you're on the North Carolina coast, and
Yeah,
you're
we're
looking
sitting on a
out
porch.
over the
at
ocean,
sunset, yeah.
and these things appear.
That was crazy. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
So
like
the
one
sun
here.
is in the opposite,
So sun's like almost down. It's like the last like 20 minutes of light
and it's behind you.
Usually.
north. So Oak Island, I think, is actually faces south. It's one of the only south-facing beaches. South-ish.
Okay,
So
so
the sun is actually the sun is kind of behind.
Like
us.
almost
yeah,
directly
to the
behind.
right, back to the
Yeah,
right,
back right.
and so you're looking forward, and you're seeing lights.
Yep. Just it looked like a light bulb turned on. So this is the weird thing though is you couldn't. I think you could see one or two stars
Yeah,
because it was still bright out.
yeah.
It was so bright. It was brighter than the couple stars we could see.
Yeah,
It looked like a light
markedly
bulb.
brighter.
It looks like someone superimposed a light bulb in the sky. It's like ding, just turned it on, and then ding, 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 ding. And there's like 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
But so it's just like the video that the guy put on YouTube or whatever,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
because they just all kind of turned on, and then they stayed there for a little while,
they're-
and they
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Did-
It looks like what we saw.
and then they turned off.
Yep.
Did anybody see the video about the thing in Singapore? Was that a thing?
Which one was this?
I don't know. I didn't see a Singaporean.
Which one was that? UFO stuff?
I walked through the living room and Jessica was losing her fucking marbles about some UFO in Singapore in real time, and I was like, "That's not true."
Right now I have to real time Google this.
It
Continue the
looked
conversation.
like it looked like
Gaslighting
a,
your,
no. No, I looked up and I saw the TV and it had a fucking thing on it, but I mean, I was like, if that's news, that's not real news. Like all the other stuff is.
Are you saying
know what I
fake
mean?
news?
No, I mean, if it's not like it's imaginary news. It's just not real.
So Dan, you've been in and out of here. What is your take on UFOs?
He had to jack off twice since we started talking about it. He obviously is all about it.
My my carpal tunnel is actually starting to get at me right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can't talk about UFOs anymore. Just done.
I appreciate that so much.
I love it. I love you, Dad.
This it's not so much here
Or here,
or here,
but
but
really
right.
like here
Hey guys, fuck your UFOs.
and here.
Your talk of UFOs has aggravated my carpal
Guys, I
tunnel.
said end it.
I'm gonna walk away again. I say,
Wait,
stop talking about UFOs.
Ben,
Do you want me swollen and bruising forever?
worst experience ever.
Oh, that sucks.
Listen to us talk about UFOs.
No. We're not gonna go into that.
The walk of shame.
No,
back in the frame.
I do. I think it's mathematically impossible for there not to be UFOs. It's for any other, honestly, intelligent life that is actually way beyond us.
So there's
That it's
always
a
definitive-
mathematical certainty that
there's a lot
there's
of-
something
lot
else
more
out there
solar
that's more
systems,
more
galaxies,
intelligent than we are.
It doesn't make sense not for us not to have that, because the fact is
Yeah.
that all right, so we know in the outer atmosphere, all right, or excuse me, not the outer atmosphere, but the outer satellite belt, whatever. Mm-hmm. There is a
outer orbit.
Lower orbit.
literally a no. They're talking about
Stratosphere.
actually having like found bacteria,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
and that it's like a cloud.
COVID-20.
Yeah, it's coming.
COVID 2021.
But the fact of the matter is
gotta
like
lock down.
this bacteria is literally what caused life. That's the newest.
Panspermia, yeah.
So
well, they're not sure if it came up from the ocean or if it came. They're not sure which was
Although
the flow.
Francis Crick, who discovered DNA, did say that mathematically it is as likely that DNA developed naturally on this planet as it would be for a tornado to blow through a junkyard and leave a perfectly assembled 737 aircraft. Or 747,
basically-
whatever.
And
the-
then, Bruce,
whatever the-
entropy.
Bruce Damer did it in a volcano, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
yeah, and so
over
Bruce
it-
Damer...
So he
over
proved
a-
it wrong.
Well, no, Bruce Damer created RNA from a soup. and-
anytime that
Genetic
you
material is
hear,
genetic material.
Well, when consciousness is written into the structure of the universe itself, then you're going to have a directed assembly of organic material.
Can
Science
I
has
actually
proven
go back to the Fibonacci series again? Like seriously.
Please do. You've been
Like, so-
chomping at the bit to get us back to Fibonacci. Let's go.
So, Fibonacci series. I mean, we could literally list it forever because it's 1 + 1, 2, 3, 5. Why wouldn't consciousness be structured in the same way that each time it hits a higher order, it has that higher level? So that like
It's an
consciousness,
additive
right?
of the previous
Your
level.
mind is another level, and I think we're just seeing
Yeah.
one step in that Fibonacci series. I think all living life is on that tier. Maybe most is at 1 in the universe,
Uh-huh.
or some other weird version of 1. But maybe we're at like 3. That's the higher order. It's a higher level of intelligence.
But the
Red.
argument holds true, and it makes sense that if the intelligence is inherent of the field itself, it's going to direct organic, and that's the weird thing is that we're in an entropic universe, right? We live in a universe that everything gets smaller and smaller and breaks down into more fundamental components every second. Yet we, as organic material, do the exact opposite.
But you know why that makes sense to me?
Go ahead.
If basic things break up to get more complicated,
Yeah.
those complicated individual parts can combine to end up being even more complicated things. So it's like if you were to look at that process, entropy is like, oh yeah, everything breaks down, but then the larger picture being, yeah, it breaks down to be able to create more.
Be able to
complicated parts.
structure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Balance.
Yeah. The mutable and immutable.
I like that. All right, let's call this an episode.
Cool.
Switch this back over to this camera. Thank you guys for joining us here at the cabin. We will do probably one more episode to create some content before we get back into the studio. We have some amazing guests coming up, though, so hit the subscribe button and the like button and share us with your friends because the algorithms hate us, and we're not going to get this content out to anybody unless you actually take a fucking action. I love you, but I'm being harsh with you right now. You got to take an action, and you got to click on that button, and you got to share us out with your friends, and you got to hit like and subscribe so that the algorithms will love us more. We want to bring you amazing stuff. Just
For
do that
the
one
love
thing.
of God, share us.
For the love of George Floyd, the martyr.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Talk to you soon. Peace.